The story begins in an abandoned building in Dubai, where two individuals are tasked with carrying out a secret mission, under the direction of a man named Nigel. Their goal is to retrieve critical information. However, on the ground floor, a man named Liam and his team are lying in wait. While one of the two men upstairs keeps watch, the other works on hacking into the system to transfer the data. Liam's team launches a surprise attack, killing them both and cutting off the data transfer. Upon receiving the news, Nigel realizes the mission has failed. The next morning in New York City, we find a man named Jack out for his daily run. Suddenly, a black SUV pulls up, blocking his path. Sensing danger, Jack tries to escape, but he is eventually captured. Inside the vehicle, he comes face to face with Jim, the deputy director of the CIA. Although they had worked together in the past, Jack had left the job to live a normal life. Jim urges him to go to Dubai to retrieve something from an operative. Trusting Jim and understanding the gravity of the situation, Jack reluctantly agrees to take on the mission. In Dubai, Jack meets his bodyguard, Mike. At night, Jack has to enter a party alone while Mike remains outside for security. There, Jack meets Nigel. Not recognizing Jack, Nigel holds a knife to him and begins questioning him about Jim. Once Jack reassures him that Jim sent him, Nigel hands him a cigarette pack. At that exact moment, Liam's men launch a surprise attack and kill Nigel. Before Jack can attempt to escape, an armed woman named Emma orders him to surrender. Jack cleverly hides the cigarette pack in his pocket and is forced to surrender. After the incident, news reaches Jim that Jack is in trouble. Just then, one of Jim's associates, Patrick, arrives with an email that is part of a secret file called Starling. Upon viewing the file, Jim becomes extremely concerned. Suddenly, a call comes in from Liam. Liam threatens Jim, demanding that he return what Nigel gave to Jack, or else his officers will be killed one by one. Jim tries to dodge the situation by pretending he knows nothing about it. Meanwhile, Jack and Mike are held captive in a secret hideout. Emma brings Jack out for interrogation, showing him photos of Jim's past crimes and activities to confuse him. She claims that Jim is the real villain and has pushed Jack into this danger. She demands to know about the Starling program, explaining that Nigel and Jim had once formed a Black Ops unit together. But after a failed operation in Karachi, Jim took the blame and shut the program down. Emma offers Jack a deal: join forces with her if he wants to stay alive. Later, Jim is seen leaving a meeting with CIA Director Elizabeth, only to be urgently summoned to headquarters. At the same time, Emma and an agent named Andrew are transporting Jack and Mike to headquarters, where she presses Jack for information about Nigel. Upon arrival, Jack directly confronts Jim, demanding to know why he was kept in the dark and sent on this mission. Jim claims he hid the truth for Jack's own protection, and shows him photos of the two men who were killed in the building during the initial mission. He explains that through their deaths, Nigel had discovered that Liam had reactivated the Starling program. Tensions flare as Jack and Jim continue to argue, and the situation becomes increasingly complicated. Shortly after, everyone is called into an emergency meeting. Upon examining the pen drive recovered from Nigel's killers, they find maps of London and banking transaction records. Jim explains to the group that an extremist group had once plotted to blow up London Bridge, a plot the Starling program had previously thwarted. Now that Liam has reactivated the program, Jim advises that the bridge must be closed until their mission is complete. Later, Jim calls Elizabeth to provide a detailed account of the events. He admits that he met Liam and Nigel in Karachi while they were tracking terrorists. At that time, they had obtained information from a Pakistani official and foiled the London attack plot 3 hours before it was set to happen. However, the official died during interrogation, and Jim took the blame for the incident, declaring the Starling program shut down. Liam, however, was always distrustful of diplomacy and believed Jim had betrayed them. He is now creating this instability as an act of revenge. To resolve the issue, Elizabeth decides to travel to London. Meanwhile, Jack and Emma are in a van, keeping surveillance on a building where a suspect is hiding. When the suspect emerges, Mike follows and captures him. At the same time, Elizabeth arrives in London, and Jim goes to pick her up. Jack and his team storm the building, where they find a massive cache of weapons and explosives, confirming that a major attack is being planned. As Jim leaves his meeting, Jack calls to inform him of the successful raid. Jim, however, is deeply concerned about Liam's true intentions, suspecting that Liam is keeping them distracted elsewhere while playing his real hand. Just as Elizabeth is about to get into her car, a massive explosion occurs. Jack hears the sound and, fearing for Jim's life, rushes to save him. Elizabeth is killed in the blast, but Jim narrowly escapes with his life. After the explosion, Jim sees that Elizabeth is gone. Just then, he spots Liam sitting in his car, giving him a mocking salute. Consumed by rage, Jim chases Liam in his own vehicle. After a high-speed pursuit, Liam's car crashes and is totaled. As Liam climbs out and attempts to flee on foot, Jim draws his weapon and orders him to stop. However, Liam's associates suddenly appear and open fire on Jim. Jim barely manages to take cover behind his car and returns fire, but he soon runs out of ammunition. As Liam's men surround him, it seems like his death is imminent. At that very moment, Jack and his team arrive, launching a counterattack. Their precise shots take down Liam's followers. Jack quickly reaches Jim and rescues him, moving him to a safe location. Following Elizabeth's funeral, they meet again at a secret location, known as RF. After this tragic event, everyone realizes that Liam had been monitoring their every move from the beginning. Liam had discovered that Nigel was trying to warn them, which is why he eliminated him. Liam is now reactivating all the terrorist groups that the Starling team had previously neutralized. Just then, a courier sent by Liam arrives with a message, inviting Jim to meet him. Jim does not go alone, arriving at the designated spot with his team. However, Liam is extremely cautious, having kept the entire area under heavy surveillance with his men. Liam demands that Jim return what Nigel gave him. When Jim denies it again, the situation turns hostile. Jack steps forward and deceptively tells Liam that the object is nearby, and he can retrieve it for him. Liam agrees, and Jack leaves to fetch it. Even though he knows the cigarette pack Nigel gave him is empty, it is merely a ploy to distract Liam. The ruse Jack and Emma pulled on Liam was merely a stalling tactic. The cigarette pack from Nigel contained nothing of substance. It was just a diversion. Jack knew Liam must be hiding something that held the key to their mission. Jim suggested that, when Liam's men attacked on the night of Nigel's death, some sensitive data must have been exchanged. They decided to infiltrate Nigel's private office to check his computer servers. Only Emma knew the location, so she led Jack there. Upon checking the computer, Jack discovered that no data had been uploaded. Instead, a real-time transmission was running. To locate the source, Jack enlisted the help of Patrick, an expert in hacking and tracking. Patrick quickly traced the server's network connection, revealing that the information Liam wanted was being broadcast live from that very building in Dubai, the same one where Jack's previous team had been wiped out at the start of the story. The next day, they learned that a mole of Liam's was monitoring Jim and feeding updates to Liam via satellite. Aware of Liam's traps, they prepared a counter-strategy. Jack and Emma departed for Dubai on a private plane, while Jim coordinated with his allies to finalize the plan. Jim was certain that a CIA agent named Andrew had secretly aligned with Liam. Consequently, Emma intentionally fed Andrew false information, ensuring that Liam would receive a decoy report while they moved into position. Upon arriving in Dubai, they sought the assistance of a local official, named Jamal, to advance toward their target, the abandoned building. Upon reaching the old building in Dubai, Jack and his team are immediately met with an ambush from Liam's men. A fierce gunfight ensues, shattering the glass walls of the building. Jack skillfully takes down several enemies, but Emma finds herself in danger. As she slips from a shattered glass edge, Jack catches her just in time and pulls her to safety on the floor above. They then use the elevator to push toward the upper levels. Patrick, tracking the server from a distance, guides Jack to the exact floor. Once they arrive, Jack blows the door open and enters. He quickly connects his tablet to the server and begins transferring the critical data to Patrick. At that very moment, Liam arrives with his entire force, igniting a massive firefight. At one point, Liam throws a grenade, causing a huge explosion, but thanks to Jack's sheer determination, the data transfer is completed just in time. Outside, Mike keeps Liam's men distracted by attacking them with a crane. During the crossfire, Emma is shot and falls. Realizing there is no other way, Jack feigns surrender to Liam. Just as Liam is gloating in his moment of triumph, Jim's helicopter arrives from outside. Jim unleashes a barrage of machine gun fire on Liam's position. Caught off guard, Liam is severely wounded and collapses to the ground, and Jack finally puts an end to his villainy by shooting him. With the mission successfully completed, Jim appoints Jack as the new director of the CIA, bringing this intense mission to a close. So, friends, that concludes today's movie breakdown. Let me know in the comments how you enjoyed this video. To keep getting deep dives into the hidden stories behind movies, please like, share, and subscribe to stay connected with the channel. Comment the name of your favorite movie if you want to hear the story behind it. That's all for today. Goodbye, and I'll see you in the next video. Thank you all for watching until the end.